Welcome to Point to Rise, your podcast that gives you permission to dream big, take messy action, and turn your talent into profit while turning your back on perfection. My name is Susanne, high performance and mindset coach, former international ballerina, profitable entrepreneur, and founder of Point to Rise, a movement designed to empower dancers. It is my mission to use my own story as an inspiration for today's generation of dancers. And now sit back, stretch, warm up, or zip your coffee and love learning how much it matters to point at yourself first to rise to all that you are capable of. And we're back. Welcome to another episode of the Point to Rise podcast, Rising 360. Gina, hello, my love. Thank you for being here.
Hello, Susanne. Always a pleasure to talk with you.
Hi. Today, we're going to reconnect to joy in the studio. Oof. That's so transparency is something really, really hard for me to talk about because I don't remember much about joyful experiences in the studio. So the more so we need to talk about this. Gina, what's our quote for today?
So I have a quote from Oprah, actually. She says, "I define joy as a sustained sense of well-being and internal peace, a connection to what matters." And I just thought that was so beautifully put, a sustained sense of well-being and internal peace, a connection to what matters. And I think oftentimes as dancers, we see the work ahead of us and it's so momentous, right? We're working toward 32 fouettes. We're working toward finishing this variation and having it be ready for, a competition. We're working to get a certain role. And at some point along the line, we find a little bit of a disconnect with why we started dancing to begin with, why it is that, we left our joy somewhere. And it becomes about the, not drudgery, but the hard work of doing these things day in and day out, showing up, holding on to the bar. If you're a jazz dancer, showing up, being in the studio, ready to work. And I think it's worth pausing and remembering why it was that we started, and then trying to reconnect with that, find the joy in the everyday work that we do as dancers.
That was so beautifully said. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever in your time, and particularly in school, heard the word joy, or were you encouraged to feel joy while building your skills?
I was not. When I set out to build Dancer 360, my wellness coaching business and my future book, I started thinking about, why do I want to do this? And when it really got down to it, it's because as a student, I lost connection with that joy. And I wanted my driving force, one of them was to help dancers avoid that pitfall. So I set about to, whatever I do, I try to make it fun. I try to make my posts uplifting and joyful and lighthearted. And for me, it's medicine, because it's what I needed back when I was a student. And so I'm hoping that resonates with dancers as well. But there was another colleague of mine at Boston Ballet School, and she said a beautiful thing. She said, we have to help our dancers fall in love with the work they do at the bar. And I thought, well, I hate bar work. I can't even fathom that.
Hated it.
But it's maybe a strong word. It's not my favorite.
No, not at the end.
But her point was, can we help our dancers fall in love with the work, with the routine of coming in day out, doing the work, and not have it feel like a drudge, but have it be something that they love to do? And that stuck with me.
This is definitely something that I'm learning right now, right as we're speaking every single day. Um, because just as you, I was taught that it is really hard to become a dancer. There is no freedom. You have to sacrifice everything that you know to become a professional ballerina. It's going to hurt all the time. You're going to shed many, many tears. You're always going to be tired. You won't be eating. And success is really just achieved through really hard work. And it is in this story that we have received from our teachers, parents, caregivers, you know who I mean, right? Like everybody that influenced us in our upbringing, that we've taken that in as us, as ours, as this is the only way to, without even questioning it at any given point. And I disliked a bar to the bones every single day. And it wasn't just at the end, it was in every class, couldn't stand it. Because we're working towards the goal. We're working towards the 32-foot taste. We're working towards the contract, the role, I don't know, the yes, good girl. It's always a chasing something. And we're not finding any joy in the journey because the journey isn't seen as recognizable, as high-fiveable, as
Instagrammable.
as what?
Instagrammable.
Right, Instagrammable. And the more and more we are focusing on reaching the goal, the more emptier we will be, because nothing ever will be good enough. And when we don't feel good enough, we're denying ourselves to feel joy as well.
Oh, that's really well put. Your connection between finding joy in the journey, I think you're really on to something there. Because if our goal is the end, if we're looking at our goal at the end, well, gosh, sometimes that goal changes. And so you're setting yourself up to be disappointed if your focus is all the way down there. But when your focus is on the journey and you have this curiosity and this joy of let's see what today brings, then it's almost like this unfolding of a present in front of you, that you don't know what's inside. And it's almost like, what's going to come out, which is such a different mindset than I got to get to that really unattainable place. I got to do the work today to get there. I think finding joy in the journey. I'm so glad you said the word journey. I think that's eye-opening for me.
But that because you mentioned your friend, and we're not teaching our students to find joy in a journey. Like nobody just arrives. Paulina did not arrive in Berlin and was handed the principal contract and she was a star. No, that's a journey. Until today, that is a journey, because we're consistently changing, we're growing, we're becoming something else. The energy outside of us is different, the energy in us is different. We're not the same every single day. I mean, our entire body, the cells in our body changing, and nothing in our body is like it was 2 years ago, so there's consistent change. And we're not encouraging that change to be something as a part of life, but as something, oh no, resist the change, resist the joy, because it's not going to get you where you want to go. And I really have to say, dancers, and you're 14, 15, 16, 18, we know what you hear every day, and use this, our episodes, our way of speaking to you, as an invitation to look at things in a different way and see how that feels. It's a different pair of pointe shoes. Maybe they're more comfortable. Maybe they need a little bit to be broken into, maybe you need a little bit more water or shellac to make them fit your foot. But we promise you that it feels so much better at the end.
That was great. Find the right pair of pointe shoes and make sure you love them when you put them on.
Right? Isn't it? But Gina, right, remember, like for me, when we just talk quickly, even before hitting record, it's like I have so many issues with even talking about joy, even though joy is one of the words for me this year. Do you think I have made progress in terms of finding what's joyful for me? No. It is so uncomfortable that I have pushed it out and out and out and out. And we have like less than 90 days left in this calendar year. And I'm like,
You got some work to do, huh?
Haven't eaten that frog yet.
So maybe it would be helpful to talk quickly about things that are stumbling blocks that can steal our joy, that can disconnect us to that. And one for me that comes up pretty quickly, or two, are comparison and people pleasing. Because was it Teddy Roosevelt that said, comparison is the thief of joy? And there's no faster way to do that than to compare yourself with the dancer next to you. That's definitely a stumbling block. And the other one of people pleasing, when we start to try and please our teacher or try and please our parent or try and please our coach, then we're no longer focused on pleasing ourselves, which creates a disconnect from our joy, from our why. Why are we dancing to begin with? Do you have any stumbling blocks that you can think of?
So for me, the biggest one is, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe that you deserve joy, that would be a big stumbling block for me. And I really, all I have to say to that, this is not something that you have to earn or something that you deserve when you accomplish something. This is not, a $10 bill that's going to be given to you. No, you deserve to live a joyful life every single day while you're on this earth. It's your birthright. It's not supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be painful. And, I understand we learn from these experiences and we need them to evolve in our life. But what really will make the difference is how we react towards them. And if we're reacting in a "this is happening for me, not to you, to me" kind of attitude, meaning what joy can I find in this very moment, your whole world is going to change.
So true. And Susanne, do you mind if we end with a little exercise idea that I have? So this would be homework for you, dancers. Go and find the most embarrassing picture of you with your tutu on when you were 4 or 5 or whenever you started, and the bow in your hair and the big red lips that your mom drew on you for recital. Find that picture of yourself and print it out if it's digital, and put it up somewhere where you see it regularly, where you see that goofy costume and you remember the thrill it was to step into the classroom for the first time, put on those shiny patent leather tap shoes, slip on your ballet slippers, the first time you stepped on stage. Have that picture at the ready so that you can remember why it is your joy was sparked by dance and to reconnect with that.
Oh, I love that. Just alone knowing what your why is, it is like, what's your why? I don't, all I remember, Gina, was like, I had to. That was my why. Like I could not. And that was since I was 2 years old.
Well, and if that's your situation, then there's a conversation that needs to happen with your parents about where you're training. Then that actually, Susanne, would be a good topic for another day.
Oh,
What happens if you're unhappy where you're at? Because you still have agency and you still have power, even though you're a student. But yeah, that type of lack of joy means a conversation with your parent to see how they can help you find a better opportunity as a dancer to train.
I love that. And it will also, that even taking that agency for yourself and having that level of awareness already at that age, it will set you up for such a more joyful and extended career, because you have your priorities in place. You know your values, you know what's right for you. And you won't let all of the other noise coming in, and that will set you up for much, much more.
Agreed. And I'd love to finish with that quote from Oprah one more time, if you don't mind. Yeah. So she defines joy as a sustained sense of well-being and internal peace, a connection to what matters. And what matters to us as dancers is keeping our bodies healthy, is being the best artist we can be. And those two things are only achieved if we stay connected to our why, if we stay tapped into joy and give from that place.
Thank you, Gina. That was beautiful. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in today. Don't forget to, if you want to put your pictures on your mirror and remember your why, if you feel courageous enough to tag us and post it for us, we'll put our pictures up too. I can't think of one specifically. That's a real good one. And we're sending you so much love. Till next time.
Take care, dancers.
Thank you so much for listening. If this message resonates with you, please pass it on to someone who needs to hear this right now. And if you like what you've heard, your feedback will go a very long way. If you just take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review, that would mean the world to me. Till next time, point at yourself to rise to all that you are capable of.